it's really transparent. I never made a mistake. You can actually see everything. Because you can see everything. Oh, I never made a mistake, not lying. Has already done that. Maybe I should calculate how much I would look at it. Because I know I was made a mistake. It's really easy. Democrats run for their own shadows. It means they're actually tackling their weakest opponents by actually, trying to reverse their own past mistakes. Democrats run for their own shadows. You can actually see that, right? I was submitted because I never lie. It's never difficult. Anything is possible. Let me actually show you how quickly I can exceed. Because I never actually had a citizen, I have already, I don't know. Because it's too small and I want to be afraid of actually getting hurt. Because I was slightly less convinced. It's really easy. Antibiotic 2번 잡았는데 얘기 전에 2번 잡았는데 every single time you are actually under a suspicion, then write down twice to secure your answer. And that way, no one actually would challenge you, right? That's so very obvious. I just really wanted to write down a type of contentious issue twice to secure that. Never. It's really easy. 1879 is a Iran hostage activity happens. No. I never made a mistake, no. Donald Trump is a hostage to 1978. I never made a mistake. My argument is very clear. I have written down everything correct. I'm not lying. I have never actually dropped anything. See, could Bernie Sanders to win all? Who will be left in standing? Never made the view has a Megan McCain problem. I never had any mistake. No, it's not true. I would have never accepted it. The only reason I decided to delete the previous one, there were so many sentences that I have already actually filmed yesterday. Because if whoever watches this would think that, oh, you repeat the same sentence to think that you can actually be faster than other people. That's really the reason. I already actually submitted this video yesterday. That's really the reason I deleted it. Not that I actually made any mistakes. It's still not true. Never made a mistake. I even actually had to written down the Citizens United. Because I've already actually studied this for many years. I'm not lying. I mean, I have even actually broken a week. It's very obvious. I have studied it here. Citizens United, I have already actually done it here. You can actually solve this question. I never has to take it. Because of my, inner thinking clearly proves I had written down the right answer. Citizens United. Because I saw this. I know this, from this book. Maybe I should find the what's here. Because I've solved this one. Here. McCutcheon versus FEC Federal Election Commission. Buckley versus Folio. Citizens versus United. And this was really done when I was in New York. So I remember it. And I solved it. I even didn't get this. But so I remember it. I'm not lying. I knew it. I didn't actually get this answer. Whenever I made a mistake, I had a tendency to remember it. The weekend rules. Or to leave the Napoleon dark. That means no. The Napoleon. Or the unknown. And deceived, misled in darkness. Actually, 20 years memorizes something really better. I mean, as we get older, memory gets failed. That's what it was. Alternatively, it could be a better way, right? Oh, that's interesting. Right? Google Place asks, are you the worst thing you've ever done before? That means you have ever done before. And the Google Place asks, are you the worst thing you have ever done before? Are you the worst enemy of yours? As you have done the worst for your life? I mean, I just really wanted to clarify. But you know what? The Democrats should sometimes lead this electability or winnability paradigm, right? This could actually be the paradox. It could haunt you. Think about it when you actually vote for Hillary Clinton instead of Bernie because of the winnability. What happened? The winnability paradox is very tempting. Every second, it would actually want it to haunt you, right? We definitely want to hunt you. We cannot slow climate change without energy companies. It's very hard. You're unvaccinated and you got sick. These are your odds. I mean to know the chances are you are actually still remained as unvaccinated and that you got really sick. How high is it? Almost 100%. It's really easy. I really don't know. You are unvaccinated and you got sick. These are your odds right now. How well you could actually be this sick. No, I don't need to. Even if you actually commit a serious crime, don't try to actually pass the buck to the mental disease pre-existing. It's really easy. destroys exactly the same thing as X. Why in the future? Did Trump and Iran just bury the hatchet? Or in the future? The means are exactly the same as did Trump and Iran bury the axe. Means they decide to seek reconciliation by removing the old contentious controversies behind them. Or that would not yet be done. It's really easy. I can actually see it this way. Did Trump and Iran move behind their old contention to seek a conciliatory fate? Like, they're actually putting themselves in dead tongue. Or did they actually, never reach that peaceful agreement implied? Or that would be something that should have come in the future. Did they truly bury the hatchet by moving behind this old controversy that might pick them apart? No, I never hesitated. Why Julian Castro couldn't finish it first with Latinos, even with his Hispanic background and heritage, and there was no such genius Hispanic candidate like Julian Castro, who already served in multiple institutions. But why he would actually be such a candidate lagging behind even amongst the Latins or Latinos, Hispanics? Why can't he actually make a significant inability? What I want to say is that Julian Castro, even amongst the Latinos, he couldn't actually make enormous progress to stay on top of the ballot. He almost, if there's any type of poll, he actually barely trails other candidates. Right? It's not something there is no edge or advantage he might actually get from his own demographic group to where he belongs. That's a troublesome. Even with his own privilege to become a Latino candidate as a Hispanic, he fails to obtain the privilege and advantage that might give him a head start. Even with the same head start, which is his heritage and privilege to become Latino, he fails to make his progress to top other candidates. Right? There is no inability to carry this demographic group. Latino heritage is better. How come couldn't he wield his Latino heritage properly to put it forward by carrying them all? Or you can actually say that how come he couldn't wield a sword of the Latino heritage? How come couldn't he wield a sword of Latino heritage properly to put him forward by carrying all of them? I don't know. No. For the final solution to liberate the facility or even actually get those people, there was a mass massacre to actually kill a majority of people. There was actually test killing. Commander in Chief means you've been actually overviewing the entire military system represented by the Pentagon to become the head of the entire military forces, whatever that might be, the Army, Air Force, or even Navy, or Coast Guard, or what do we have? Navy, Marine, or U.S. Army, all of them. Yeah. But the thing is, Donald Trump would actually demand constant investment in the warfare by agitating the region as a saboteur and saboteur. That's one of the reasons why we can no longer fund and sponsor his belligerent mindset. Even he actually won the election by promising the American First policy. His actions sometimes didn't really follow the words he actually said. That's sort of the thing. He spent quite a amount of money. At least, not in a monetary sense, because of his hostile policy against the Muslim. There were so many people who just actually despised the United States, the U.S. diplomatic forces, or even expatriates would face a serious challenge posed to their security, right? This kind of total cost heavily burdening the American people as well as American country would actually be difficult. It would be challenging. And sometimes it is a worry great one. I mean, there are so many wackish things he hadn't done so far. In total, there's a hefty price that had been paid by the United States by having this type of reckless and non-ideological outlier as a commander-in-chief. No one can actually guess that where he would have bounced. Oh, because it's very sensitive. There's a tiny S in it. Even with the Korean, it's a 2. I can never actually read something. It's very difficult to make prediction. Because why would you actually think that this would actually be? If that has never been accompanied with the article, it's really tricky for you to make that correct assumption. That's all the reason. Many are headlines that were not actually followed with a proper article. And I have to take a hard look at it. Because Andrew Jackson is really the person who actually faced the very impeachment. He was impeached, but he was not removed from the office because of one single vote or something like that, right? Andrew Jackson, the Persian Gulf, he's been actually facing a serious charge. But he's been more involved with the war affairs with Iran just a couple of weeks ago, even after he was impeached by the House, right? Because my letter is slightly disordered. The arrogance of Trump's enablers means there was a certain type of audacity, to assume the president can go any distance to justify his behavior. The defense lawyers, now they argued, the president had never made an unconstitutional mistake, because his error is not at all an unconstitutional error, because he is a presidential power. He is really the very source where he can actually make these kind of choices, right? Because the power that is invested in presidency would be incapacitating to cover up the range of wrongdoings that he had done as a president of the United States. Even though that might be slightly off the road or off-putting for many, that does not mean that would be impeachable, literally. Because those type of clauses would never be great enough to justify and rationalize the impeachable causes that might actually bring him out of office. That's arguments by enablers. Then don't you not actually think the U.S. doing too much? Don't you not actually think that you're being too presumptuous to believe the president would never be removed and eliminated out of office by giving it too greater a power? The Soleimani removal, by actually killing Soleimani, is a war strategy. He promised to his voters already, but it was not actually matched with his, strategy. kind of binary choices are really dangerous. The choice is coming. You're actually reduced into two different choices: either bombing Iran preemptively, or Iran with the nuclear bomb, or any powerful bomb, the bomb. Why would you actually, say this to be the available options on the table? This kind of, frame is really the wrongful from the very beginning. It has been crafted by President Donald Trump to justify his attack, constantly, agitating the people. There's no difference between what has been actually said by many different war enablers so far, right? If we don't actually deter them preemptively, then they're gonna come get us. This kind of war enablers, those people are constantly disseminating the same type of messages filled with alerted seriousness about the approaching war. If you never actually take the measure, and it's never going to be effective, because once the enemy force is given with the weapon powerful, and potency can never be stoppable like this. What now for Europeans who love UK and the Britain? Those, European continent folks who truly have a great admiration for the United Kingdom and the Britain. Then what's the solution? How Democrats win back over those how Democrats can win back over those Barack Obama Trump defectors. It means what? Those people who in the first place who had been very much inspired by President Obama's new change and hopes, they were very disappointed because there is not much, hasn't Obama had it done to bring about the tangible equality in the face of this fast-paced globalization. Because no president can actually do this. There's no way. Not a single person overcoming the entire intricacy and labyrinth of the bureaucracy can truly bring out the redistribution of wealth kind of radical policy. There's no way, right? For that reason, especially, many different, white people living in the Rust Belt or the Middle Land, Heartland, were very frustrated because they actually think that they were underrepresented by the Obama administration, because many blacks or Hispanics or Asians, they're better represented and presented by this policy that might be seen as a favoritism for those smart and intellectual and diligent immigrants, non-white immigrants, or non-white descendants from the immigrant families like Andrew Yang. Those people are really almost like a teacher's pet under the President Obama's administration. That's really the reason they experienced significant challenge. They were actually, being the number one renegades who run away to teach their loyalty to Democrats, saying the Democratic Party also. Because of those, many people who for a long period of time, because of the social justice, they never even had any serious consideration for the Republican Party, for the GOP. For the first time voted for Donald Trump in the anticipation of witnessing the social justice, because they felt that the establishment of the Democratic Party would be so corrupted with elite policy. That's for the reason they decide to become a renegade by teaching their party loyalty and fealty to the Democratic Party. And they were very disappointed. Those, people who were never been deeply engaged with the party politics, or they were never been actually, enthusiastic voters being engaged with the presidential election, but they somehow, got very much inspired and motivated to witness the different innovation and metamorphosis that had been promised by President Obama, who just actually at the time, relatively recently, parachuted in the politics, right? He was also had a sense of youth and newness and rejuvenation to transform the American politics. But that was nothing but a mere illusion. Immediately after the passing this bill called the TARP, the Troubled Asset Relief Program, and handing out, or at least securing more benefits enjoyed by the Wall Street fat kids, right? Would that be enough?